Hi. I just wanted to discuss my Living Earth model again. I had a little more to say about it, and I did create a new model. I'm going to start off by showing the original model. Let's see if I can get it in frame here. This is the original model of my Living Earth based off of Norse cosmology. I did explain it in an earlier video, so if you want to watch that, feel free, and then come back. And the next model that I created is a little more clear on how the system actually works, like Russian dolls. So it is a world within a world within a world within a world continuously. And each is labeled for their realm, as well as the abyss and the central axis, and the air gaps in between each of the firmaments. All right, let's discuss the universe from the inside out. I wrote this down because it's a lot. At the very center, we have the abyss. This is the Ginnunga Gap, the gaping void in Norse mythology that existed before all of creation. It is the great chasm of nothingness that lies between Muspelheim's fire and Niflheim's ice. Surrounding the abyss, we have the fires of Muspelheim. Muspelheim is said to be the land of the fire giants in Norse mythology. Surrounding Muspelheim, we have Hel, the Norse version of the underworld, and outside of that, we have Svartalfheim, the land of the dwarves and dark elves. Svartalfheim acts as the machine room for the organism that is the universe, using the fires of Muspelheim to forge reality. On the surface of Svartalfheim, which lies beneath our feet, we have Midgard, or the earth that we call home. Above us is the sky and our atmosphere, protected from Jotunheim by the crystalline energy current of the firmament. Just above the firmament lies the bottom of Jotunheim's ocean, where Jormungandr, a massive sea serpent, encircles the earth, biting its own tail. This could be a literal depiction of a giant creature in Jotunheim, which happens to be the land of the giants, or a mythological description of our firmament. Either way, it is what protects us from being accessible to the giants above. From the bottom of Jotunheim's ocean, we have the lands of Jotunheim, which float upon the sea like islands. They also have a sky, atmosphere, and a firmament. Outside of Jotunheim's firmament lies the bottom of Vanaheim's ocean. Vanaheim is home to the Vanir gods, who are associated with fertility, wisdom, and foresight. These beings would be larger than the giants of Jotunheim and have a higher frequency, just as the giants have a higher frequency than man. Floating on Vanaheim's oceans are Vanaheim's lands, and above lies their sky, atmosphere, and a firmament to protect it from Alfheim's ocean. Alfheim lies above Vanaheim and is the home of the light elves, who are described to be fairer than the sun. It is a luminous world of light and fertility, and they too are larger and have higher frequencies than the Vanir below them. Alfheim has its own land, sky, atmosphere, and a firmament to keep it separate from Asgard. Above Alfheim's firmament lies the bottom of Asgard's ocean. Floating atop it are the lands of Asgard, where the gods reside. Here the beings are gargantuan, which is why gods are often described as having voices like thunder. Asgard too has its own land, sky, atmosphere, and firmament to protect it from Niflheim's icy mists. Outside of Asgard's firmament lies Niflheim, a land of icy mist. It is these icy mists that reached out to meet the fires of Muspelheim in the Ginnunga Gap, or the Abyss. In the north lies a great whirlpool that allows for the ether, light, and salt water to spiral downward through the entire organism of the universe into the abyss at the center where it meets the fires of Muspelheim, creating a sort of steam engine that fuels the organism itself. In the south, we have an exhaust point, an abyssal opening, or even perhaps another whirlpool. This is where the energy that is created in the central abyss exudes and returns to the circulation of the universe. If there were to be an abyssal opening or whirlpool in the South Pole where none of us are allowed to go, this would be the prime energy source, free energy. Energy created by the flow of the universe itself. So, if all of this were true, why would it be hidden so well? Power and control. The elites have all signed the Antarctic Treaty, the only treaty that every elite can agree upon. Why? It is likely they are damming up the energy and siphoning it for their own personal use, which in turn would create an upset in the flow. Disrupting the flow would then cause problems with not only our world, but every world within our universal system. It would throw everything out of balance, and because the intentions of the elites are born of ego, the darkness is tipping the scale. Too many are inclined to dark, too many buying into the lies and deception, living unsuccessful, hopeless lives, while they watch the elite thrive. It's done this way on purpose. It's by design. Everything we know about our world and physics has been warped to proceed with the elite's agenda. They are the zookeepers. Keep the animals in the dark, and they won't be able to see that they are being starved and fed lies. It is for their own pitiful human existences and what they sacrifice by doing so in their opportunity to exist within higher realms. No unbalanced human will be accepted into the outer lands, the divine lands. It is why our firmament has been fortified. Operation Fishbowl tells us that our firmament is both real and impenetrable to humans. Only by becoming balanced can you gain access to the outer realms. This does not mean you are perfect in every way. It just means that you maintain balance between your light and dark tendencies, finding that middle ground where you are at peace. No man guided by his ego will ever see the outer worlds, and only once you are balanced may you sail the seas into the lands beyond. Every ocean is connected by the central axis, and if Midgard's firmament were to be made passable, it would be true that you could sail into the whirlpool located at the North Pole and travel along the central axis to any realm you choose. Alternatively, if you are unbalanced and inclined to darkness, which is just allowing your ego to be your guide, your ship and all its men will be destroyed by the whirlpool. The firmament, like the firmaments of all the other realms, is likely passable if you obtain the right keys. Those keys would be balance, a soft, pliable heart, and likely a connection with God, among other things in which I do not possess the knowledge yet. Unfortunately, without the ability to scale up in both size and frequency, we cannot exist within the other realms as we are. We must first leave this body at the end of our designated time before we can be accepted into the higher realms. We can access these realms in our minds. This is done through channeling, meditation, and lucid dreaming. In these practices, we open ourselves up to receive information, and in opening up, you allow Source or God to speak and experience through you. This is why we are all God. He uses our eyes and ears to see and hear. It is how he knows all. Many of us do this without ever paying mind, But when you become conscious that that is what you're doing, downloading information becomes easier and more pronounced. This information is passed along the central axis of the universe and absorbed through us in grounding ourselves. The more grounded you are, the better receiver you are. And the better receiver you are, the better creator you are. And as you create, you inspire others. And those others begin to create. If all of us focused on creating our best reality, we would live in a much different world. A world not focused on the judgment of others, but on the self, as it should be. We are so often told not to be selfish, that being selfish is wrong, but it is not. Being selfish is how you maintain your ideal version of reality. Taking care of the self is not the selfishness people speak of that comes from ego. They are different entities. When one acts out of ego, that is the me first, my way or the highway mentality. When one acts out of self-love, that is the I am mentality. I am important enough to be cared for by myself, and I am just as important, if not more so, than my loved ones, because when the I is healthy and cared for, it can care for others. The same care goes for our world. We must care for our earth, Midgard, because we are the nucleus of the entire universal cell. Muspelheim acts as the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, but Midgard is the true Middle Earth, the nucleus. It is here that the health of the rest of the cell depends on. The outer and inner worlds of our extended universe are only as healthy as Midgard is. If Midgard is imbalanced and weighed down by dark, so too are the inner and outer worlds. Everything becomes out of sync, out of harmony. And if we add the damned power being siphoned from the central axis by the elites, our universe is in a detrimental state. There is also the possibility that the elites are using the central axis to navigate the inner realms, which would be accessible to us given that they are beneath us and not guarded by a firmament. This means that the elites have access to hell, the underworld, and likely make deals there for things like long life, riches, and the hiding of their sins. But everything comes at a cost, and in making those deals, the elites are likely using contracts with humanity to enslave us into paying their debts, whatever those may be. Pay attention to the things that you sign. You could be signing your life away in a literal sense. All of this is speculation, born of years of research, but I feel in my heart of hearts that it is revealing the truth. The true intentions of our world leaders, the direction humanity is headed. There are already signs that the world is splitting, not in a literal sense, but in a conscious sense. There is a split now in humanity, those who are awake and those who are still asleep. We all have the capacity to remember. We all have the capacity to learn and find the truth, but the elites count on us being dumb. They count on us being blind and distracted by their media. They count on us being lazy and pig-headed, too stubborn to even search for the truth when they have given us a reality to follow. That we are a random ball with life on it, the only one, in a vast empty vacuum filled with gases and dust. If we were truly an accident, there would not be such coherence to the world. If we were truly an accident, why then are there no other discovered planets with life? Because we weren't an accident, we were created. And all of the universe was created to be a smoothly running machine that fulfills itself. It supplies us with energy straight from the ether that flows through the central axis. It supplies us with food. It supplies us with water. It supplies us with everything that we need to sustain life. And yet we are still obeying the elites, watching them swim in pools of money, while the rest of us work to eat, then pass on, having done nothing meaningful with our lives. What sort of existence is that? Certainly not the one our Creator intended for us. We live collectively in fear. Fear of not having enough money, fear of not having food, fear of not having a job, fear of not having transportation to get to that job, fear of life itself. We fear, and the elites laugh and thrive, throwing us their bones whenever they feel like it. In a universe so meticulously thought out, this is not the existence anyone was ever meant to live. We were meant to be free, to be guided by our hearts, but man is guided by his mind, and the mind is a fragile thing. It is so easily warped and demeaned. All it takes is judgment from another, and you question your entire existence. Why? Because we have been taught that what others think is more valuable than what we think, and that's just not true. The self is valuable, beyond valuable. It's everything. Only in mastering the self can you ascend both in life and through realms. It is why the elites are still stuck here with everyone else. They are not worthy of existing elsewhere, and humanity has yet to prove that he is excuse me that he is stable enough to, as a whole, to join the cosmos. We are so focused on war and control that there is no room for anything else. The world as a whole is blind, but we all possess the capability to open our eyes. Take this world model as your opportunity to soften the heart and open the eyes. Hear what is being said. Truly listen. Don't pass judgment, just absorb what sings to you. And if it doesn't resonate, move on. It's not meant for you. Some of us have more time to spend here than others. For some of us, this is our first incarnation, and for others, it is our last. You will only truly understand if the time is right for you. Thanks for listening.